Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Crusader Kings 2 Conclave as Scotland. In our last episode we finished our holy war down here in Galicia, or for Galicia, the entire duchy and indeed kingdom, I think, is just these two counties. So we have a new duke down there. He is a powerful vassal and is angry for not being on the council, but since we have just raised him up out of nowhere and granted him all kinds of titles, he's happy with us enough with us for the moment, but we might have to appoint him to something later. Let's get our armies back home, since for some reason, well, we'll deal with that in a second. Since for some reason we can't disband them down here without losing some. Let's just try, since I've reloaded the game since then. No, okay. Well, we have another problem. To the grovelling unbeliever Glenn, your low character is the subject of Greek plays. This is a formal declaration of war. Our armies shall meet on the field of battle. This is the Queen of Brittany. Brittany in France, married of course to the King of Sicily. He's not considered the King of France, apparently, for some reason. I guess it's because it only counts her primary title, which is Sicily. Or which is Brittany, sorry. Okay, well, as expected, she is after the county here that is de jure part of Brittany. I guess her husband doesn't automatically come in. Alright, how strong are you? 17k, and we are a bit less strong than that. We do have the Holy Roman Empire in Norway, who we could potentially call on to help us out. I think we should go ahead and try to get our alliance with the Kaiser upgraded. He should come in. Why not get Norway as well, I suppose? It's not super important, I think, that we actually win this war. If we end up losing this county, it's not a big deal, since we now have a new base for declaring holy wars down here, but I'd like to keep it if possible, I suppose. What are we doing here? Form alliance. And let's see, we have some other things we should take care of as well here. We have a child who needs an education focus. Oh, this is Slow Prince Kenneth. Well, I guess we'll just get him an appropriate focus anyway. Willful, haughty, and playful. So intrigue would be okay. So would martial. We'll go for martial, I suppose. We are slightly threatening since we took this duchy, but I think it's only about 6%, so should tick down pretty quickly. We can send our wife into hiding, but I don't think that's really necessary. Unless the person who's plotting against her has suddenly got a lot more powerful. Okay. We are in the Kaiser's war. Okay, but he should be in our war. Norway has declined our proposal for an alliance, though. I think it said that he would accept. Anyway, he's the less important one, I suppose. So he's coming to our war, we're in his war. Who is he fighting? Kagan of Cumania. He's attacking Cumania in the liberation of Crimea. Okay, I see. They have land over here, so they're attacking over the Duchy of Crimea, I suppose? Well, that's where most of their armies are, it seems, so they may not be inclined to come and help us right now. So we'll get our army back home. This army, can we see this since I've loaded them onto the boats, should reinforce. As long as we have them on friendly territory. Let's see, what is the best thing to do here? I wonder if we should get our troops into the target county. It's not very defensible, unfortunately. And if she brings all of her forces, she'll be able to win a battle there probably before we can reinforce. To a significant degree, so maybe we should just abandon that. She's not going to get ticking war score up to 100% in any reasonable time frame, so I think that's fine. We'll get back home and reinforce. I don't know if it's faster for us to disband and let our troops reinforce a bit that way. We'll disband these boats for now, at least. Now let's see, do we have more troops available that we can raise? We do have the army. Ah, we raised right on top of these raiders. That's unfortunate. Okay, well, we'll just disband these ones, I suppose, for the time being. And they're conveniently retreating back on top of my main army. We'll also not get this destroyed. Alright, so I think we're probably going to have to rely on the Kaiser to actually help us out here. We could also, I guess, hire mercenaries if we want to. Did she call me an unbeliever as well? She's Catholic, okay. But she may be a different religion or something. As he's growing older, I can see that Malcolm could use some guidance in some of my experience areas. It will require hard work. It may not always be appreciated, but this is my chance to make a self-sacrifice for the sake of Malcolm. So he's our heir, he's quick. We can have him become our rival in exchange for making him ambitious. We can give him patience in exchange for being out of patience ourselves for 5 years, or tell him he must learn on his own. I think ambitious is probably better. +2 to all stats. And I don't really know what the downside is of his being our rival. I guess he could duel us when he grows up and if he takes the war focus, but that's okay, I suppose. Let's make him ambitious. He's turning into a pretty good character. Alright, we gained some technology, that's good. And we have a couple of castle towns finished, which will help out our income further. Let's see, I don't want to immediately hire mercenaries. We can afford to hire one of the 10k strong bands. Yeah, she is, as expected, sieging her target county with more numbers than we could have successfully defended against. We are slowly reinforcing. So we'll see what she does after she takes this county. And we'll keep an eye on what the Holy Roman Empire does as well. They're up to 73% in their war, so they should hopefully win that soon. They're about to win a battle over here. Gets them 84. Young Kenneth is showing much petty cruelty towards others. He should show more ambition. A chance of him becoming ambitious, or say we don't need more competition. I don't think we need more competition, that's fine. He can be cruel. So it looks like she's not assaulting, which is a little unfortunate. It looks like England, let's see, his vassal is having a revolt against her. So nothing we can really take advantage of there, I think. More castle towns. Always good news. My body may be sapless and infirm, but my mind is as healthy as ever. Oh dear. We've become infirm. Which is pretty bad news. So we could change our focus to something health improving to counteract the actually 2 health traits that we have now. But I think under the circumstances I'd actually rather die as soon as possible and have Malcolm come into power, seeing as he's a pretty great character. So we'll just keep our current focus, I think. Assuming that we can have a relatively smooth succession, which should be the case. See if we can prearrange a marriage for Malcolm so we don't have to take care of that. On the other hand, waiting until he comes into power to get him married, we can gain prestige or gold from that. Yeah, we'll just wait. Alright, I expect her to siege the 2 lower holdings here as well. Kaiser has won in Crimea, so he should be available now to come and help us. See, he's got 30k, so he should be able to handle Brittany by himself. On the other hand, his armies are way over here, so it'll take them a while to get anywhere useful. This guy wants to increase council power, but nobody else is doing any factioning at all right now. Well, it looks like he's going to catch this little army from Brittany anyway. A woman accused of witchcraft in Athol has been dragged before your court. Several witnesses have seen her performing dark rituals in her secluded hut, possibly related to recent crop failures. She claims innocence, and it falls on you to determine her fate. We've turned 50 and are looking very distinguished these days. We can say she'll burn at the stake and lower local revolt risk, gain piety. We can throw her in the dungeons or release the poor woman at once, raising revolt risk and lowering tax. Well, we don't want the lower tax. Not too concerned about 50 tech points. We'll just throw her in the dungeons, I think. Actually, no, we'll burn her at the stake. Does that make sense for us to do? Probably not. But hey, we're infirm. We probably aren't too aware of the consequences of our actions at this point. The Cathar uprising in England as well. He's losing some men to siege events. Meanwhile, we're gaining men. She's getting a surprising amount of war score from just these few holdings as well. To my liege, the good Crusader Glenn, it has not escaped me that several of your commanders lack formal training in military tactics. I would like to offer my services by training some of these commanders in the use of advanced battlefield stratagems. This is our vassal, the Earl of Dublin. So he'll gain a favour from us. Well, actually, we're probably going to die pretty soon, so yeah, let's do it. Hopefully before he can call in his favour. Your guards inform you that yet another peasant family has been found butchered not far from where the first grisly murders took place. This time the killer was caught in the act and he was perforated by arrows when he tried to escape your guardsmen. It would seem the peasant you had imprisoned was innocent after all. Alright, so good thing we didn't execute him, I suppose. Did lose a little prestige over it. Okay, the Earl of Dublin has forced his way onto the council. Again, I think. Didn't he do that before? Duke Douglas the Drunkard has been fired in the process. Okay. Duke Murray of the Isles wants to increase council power. That's fine. Alright, so we can't fire him. At least not yet. Who was Murray the Drunkard? Or Douglas the Drunkard, sorry. Was our Duke of Galloway, who doesn't consider himself a powerful vassal, so hopefully that won't be much of an issue. We can appoint our new Duke of Galicia as a commander, so let's do that. So now we've lost sight of the army from Brittany, since we no longer control this county. One of our counties down here has been converted to Catholicism. In fact, both of them have. Probably one of them was just already Catholic. Young Malcolm has finished his education in stewardship. I notice with pride that he has attained nothing less than a masterful level of knowledge. He's gained Midas touched. Excellent. Turned into quite a good character. He's shrewd, as well as being just and ambitious. So his only real weak point is diplomacy, and even 8 is not too bad there. We probably should go ahead and get him married rather than waiting too long about this. Let's see if we can find a genius. A 9-year-old genius available, so I don't think we want to wait that long. Settle for quick. Nobody of appropriate age. How about strong? "22-year-old strong character." I think I prefer to find somebody with high diplomacy to counteract his weaknesses. So maybe we won't worry too much about having good genetic traits and just focus on the stats instead. And I guess in that case it probably doesn't matter that she's a little bit older. So we'll do that. So she is leading troops apparently in Rennes, which is here. So she's probably going off to fight or trying to fight the Kaiser over here somewhere. He does have an army wandering around. Maybe she's just headed east. Maybe she's going to try to siege some of his land. I don't know why he's wandering this army around all by itself. Upon the conclusion of a long council meeting, you decide to make a toast. Of course, one toast eventually becomes many and time seems to slip away. Later, as you leave the council chamber, you stumble and fall on your face. You can feel the taste of blood in your mouth and dizziness is setting in. So we can call for help, and I think this will end up with us owing somebody on our council a favour. Or we can say, no need to draw attention to ourselves and risk becoming wounded or dying. Well, maybe it's a slightly gamey tactic, but I think I'm going to choose this one and increase our chances of dying in the near future so that we can hurry up and inherit as Malcolm as soon as possible. Alright, as it turned out, we got away with it and did not get wounded or killed. See if we can see where the majority of the armies are over here. So they're still fairly distant. Alright, our Duke of East Anglia is happier. We know he's not in factions, incidentally, so probably we should move our Chancellor up to the Isles. So I'm hoping that the Kaiser will actually come up towards Brittany and towards the war goal, and not go down to siege some of the land that Brittany has in Italy or something, which I don't think would be too helpful in the war. But it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. He's actually assaulting it. Alright, maybe that does kind of help. Especially if he is just going to do that and then come up here. Duke Douglas the Drunkard wants elective succession. Alright, well, these are the consequences of him being forcibly removed from our council, but if nobody else joins, it's not a big deal. So she seems to not be inclined to actually transport her army across. She's going down to fight the Kaiser, it looks like. Alright, well, it looks like he has the numbers advantage. We'll see what terrain they get for the battle. If indeed they have a battle, maybe he's just going to come up here and she's going to go down there and they're not going to fight. Oh, he has another smaller army here which she could fight and probably destroy, which would be unfortunate. He's taking attrition here though. Severe winter in the hills. And she's heading into the mountains maybe. Oh. And she's being caught by the larger army. So she has the hills on her side, but the Kaiser has a pretty significant numbers advantage. Unfortunately, we can't actually watch the battle, so we'll just have to look at the numbers going down. But I think I like our chances here. Alright, that's important. So we're pretty safe now. I think we can raise boats, we can transport our troops across here, take our war goal back, and hopefully end this war pretty soon. Why would I raise them there. That doesn't make sense. Oh, that is actually a different duchy. Never mind. How many is this? Not quite enough. As he's growing older, I can see that Kenneth could use some guidance in some of my experienced areas that will require hard work and may not always be appreciated, but this is my chance to make a self-sacrifice for the sake of Kenneth. I don't want him to become ambitious or patient, really. I don't think there's much point in trying to improve his abilities. Sorry, Kenneth. Alright, we can't land there, of course. We'll have to do an amphibious landing. So we should be able to... Oh, here we go. Where am I? Who are these people? Oh, pretty colors. So we are going from infirm to incapable, which means we definitely should die very soon. And Malcolm, our heir, has been appointed as our regent, which is fine by me. Alright, well, we should be able to assault this back, or maybe just siege it the slow way and start getting ticking war score for ourselves. I was going to have to wait for the next episode because we're just about out of time, so thanks for watching, and join me again then.